I'm Jeff Gray, Gray Family Farms, Claremont, Minnesota. Been farming since about 1980, is the year I graduated. Basically started right out of school. Got acquainted with the Earthsoils program in about 2001, I think, right in that neighborhood. Been with them ever since. Got started on a small, well, it was 240 acres. I guess I picked up a farm, and they kind of mandated that I use this Earthsoils program, and I'd never heard of it. And I thought, well, I guess pick up the acres, I'll give it a shot. So I did, and that particular farm had very little tile in it. Fertility levels weren't all that great, and I couldn't believe the yields that come off of that farm and the types of soil that it was. We had a lot of soils that were like that, and we had challenges. Short little beans, they just wouldn't yield. It was just like concrete most of the time. And switched some of them acres over gradually. My dad was alive at the time, and he couldn't believe it either. We just, like they say, the plants, they tell you what's going on. And we converted basically all the acres over to the program, and been very happy ever since, I guess. So I think it releases a lot of the nutrients that are out there, loosens up the ground, makes everything a lot more available to the plant. I guess I've seen a lot of good results with it.
We asked Jeff about his family farm and his own experience with Earthsoils.
Long time, way back. I mean, we homesteaded, not here, but a mile down the road. The farm was homesteaded in the 1860s, the Gray family name, and my dad split off of that and moved up here in 1954 and started on his own and kind of built everything from there. And he did quite well. In the years that he did farm, he did a good job. So.
Jeff is very familiar with what challenges have faced his farm over these years. But when you expand in a homestead, sometimes you don't always have a choice in what you need to use on that farm, which was part of Jeff's story, and he shared that with us here. It was also the first time he met the founder, Mike Sr.
The landlords, the people that we rented the farm from, it was a new farm, and they said, well, we'll rent you this farm, but we want you to use this Earthsoils program. And they said, go down and talk to Mike, which is Michael's dad, and go down and talk to him. He's an interesting guy. And I was just amazed when I went down there and the things that he come off with, and it just made my head spin. But I mean, I was a very smart man. I was quite amazed with him. And like I said, what we've seen over the years has been impressive. I think it really works.
A new piece of ground, a new company, a new name, and now a new face. Jeff talked about some of the challenges he had with this piece of ground. A lot of this left him quite skeptical at the beginning, but that soon changed.
Very skeptical. I mean, it was all new to me. I'd never heard of the company at the time, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, but it was. Like I said, that particular farm, it had had Earthsoils on it before that, and I was just amazed at what it did for the chance that it had, and it really did well, and that was telling me that I needed to try it on some of our challenging acres, which it shows more in the challenging acres, but it helps with all acres. I mean, the soil, it gets almost like concrete. The certain types of soil we've got around here, it gets so hard that nothing can penetrate it hardly, and the crops just have a hard time producing. I mean, and when we started using this, it like I said, it started loosening the soil up and changing things, metabolism in the soil and stuff, and It was just the whole field. I mean, you had these certain spots that were challenging, and after you were on the program for a while, you could see these challenging spots start to look more like the spots that were, good different soil types. You could see it all kind of balanced out, and yields and everything just kind of averaged out then.
Jeff told us about the time where he stopped using the ES Cal one year, and it really brought his farm back to where it was before.
Yeah, it just seemed to really affect everything. I mean, and I could see it, right off the bat. You could see it, and you go out and look in the fields and stuff, and you could see it just wasn't there. I just didn't feel that the crops looked the same. I mean, it was just 1 year. I mean, without it. I mean, I'm sure if you'd have went longer than that, it probably would have gotten worse as we went. But yeah, no, I could see it, and so then the next year I went back to putting the ES Cal back on again. So, I mean, I could definitely see the difference. I just felt it.
Most farmers don't like to share their best kept secrets, but that didn't stop Jeff from telling us his story.
There again, I've talked to different friends and stuff that are farmers. It's hard to explain things. It's hard for me to explain things. I mean, basically I can just tell them my experience with it, I guess, and what they do with it, whether they feel that you're full of baloney or whatever, they're going to do what they're going to do. I guess basically I'm a believer, and whether any of that rubs off on anybody, I guess I don't know. But I know there's been some guys that have dibbled in it a little bit. Yep. Naturally, I'd like to see them try more, compare more, like I did. Started out small and just kind of compared it on a small basis and see the differences. That's what they need to do. Other than that, I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do. Farmers are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do it how they want to do it, But I guess I feel if it should be compared, it really should. You should take a small area, maybe some challenging acres, and you'll see them. I think you'll see those acres come around and produce just as good as an acre right next to it that's really good.
Jeff reminds us that all fields are different, and that it's best that we manage our expectations.
Well, and another thing, most products, most things that we do may or may not be visible or noticeable right off the bat. It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, but I feel things turn around. I mean, what I'm saying is you can go side by side and you may not see a huge difference that first year. It's down the road. To me, it's kind of a miracle thing, but it may not be a miracle right now. You know what I mean? Not. But I think over time is where the true proof is going to be.
And Jeff has definitely given Earthsoils time, year after year. But what about others?
Well, they'll put signs up for seed or fertilizer, or different things. You'll see it along the roads. I mean, but not everybody's that way. I mean, I guess it's probably a 50% split, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah. I guess I don't have a problem with putting signs up and stuff, but some farmers do. They don't want you to know what's going on, what they're doing different. That's just my thoughts, I guess.
At Earthsoils, we listen to your concerns, get to know your land, and create programs to best balance your needs, like Jeff here. Find out how you can fulfill those potential of your farming operation while creating a healthy legacy for your family and future generations. The soil does enjoy our company, and we think you will too. Come check out more at earthsoils.com.